How to overcome speech anxiety. Anyone can become a calm, compelling speaker with these pointers. Commit them to memory before you deliver your next address. You will need a video camera and time to rehearse. Optional, a prescription for a beta blocker. Step 1. Tape yourself rehearsing your speech. Our biggest fear is looking foolish, and this gives you the opportunity to correct anything you don't like. Practice until you are satisfied with your delivery. Step 2. Stand up a few moments before you take the stage. When you go from sitting to standing, your blood pressure drops, leaving your brain with less oxygen for about 2 minutes. Step 3. Starting with 100, count backward by 7 as you wait to be introduced. This engages the left side of your brain, which turns off the panic going on in the right side. Forget the old saw about picturing your audience naked. Talking to a bunch of nudists would make most people more nervous. Step 4. Smile. Even if it's fake, the physical act of smiling actually tricks the brain into thinking you're happy, so you'll feel calmer. Ask your doctor about prescribing a beta blocker, which will reduce your anxiety by slowing your heart rate. Step 5. Be prepared for questions you can't answer. You can promise to look into the matter, refer the person to someone else, or throw the question out to the audience. Did you know glossophobia is the fear of public speaking?
How to speak in public. Does the thought of addressing a crowd or even a few classmates or coworkers keep you up at night? You can learn how to perform this feat without losing sleep or your lunch. You will need a tape recorder, a video camera, or a friend, index cards, a pen, and an audience. Step 1. If possible, choose a topic that you're familiar with. This will make it easier for you to feel confident and share some personal experiences. Step 2. Do your research. Make sure you have a broad understanding of the topic, as well as a few facts and figures to bring up. Don't overdo it. People will tune out if you hit them with too many statistics. Be judicious with the numbers. Step 3. Choose 2 or 3 main points. You don't need to give an exhaustive account of your topic. Step 4. Keep it brief. If you talk for too long, people's concentration will begin to drift, no matter how riveting you are. Step 5. Know your audience. This will help you tailor your talk to fit their needs. Ask yourself what they're hoping to get from your speech. To establish a connection with your audience, learn the names of some of its members beforehand and incorporate them into your talk. Step 6. Use an outline. It's best if you don't have to read your speech verbatim. You might have to write it out initially, but when you're ready to speak, an outline will help you remember your main points. Write your outline on index cards, which will be less awkward than paper to flip through while you're speaking. Step 7. Rehearse. Some experts recommend memorizing your speech, while others say to present your main points but also speak off the cuff. Test both methods by using a tape recorder, video camera, or a friend who's willing to listen. Concentrate on what you're actually saying so it doesn't sound rote. Even if you've rehearsed every day for a month, you want it to sound spontaneous. Step 8. When it's time to speak, do your best to relax. If you're in a place where you can stretch, stretch away. And breathing exercises are always useful. Step 9. Plant your feet firmly, but keep your legs slightly bent to prevent locking your knees, which can lead to fainting. Make sure your upper body is aligned with your legs and don't sway. Step 10. Keep your hands on the podium, holding your outline or just down at your sides, but not in your pockets. You can gesture if it helps, but be careful not to overdo it or nervously repeat the same gesture. Step 11. Maintain eye contact. Imagine that the audience are friends and family and address them personally. Step 12. Don't forget to smile, unless of course you're speaking on a particularly somber topic. Step 13. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. Nobody is perfect. It's okay to make some mistakes. Don't forget that the audience is on your side. They know how hard it is to speak in public, and they're most likely admiring your bravery. Step 14. Be yourself. You have something to bring to this topic that nobody else does, so don't hold back from sharing some of your own experiences and knowledge. Step 15. Use humor when appropriate, and don't be afraid to mention your shortcomings and mistakes if they help you make a point. The audience will love you for it, and you just might grow to love, or at least endure, public speaking. Did you know? In a 1974 episode of The Brady Bunch, Marcia Brady advised her sister Jan to imagine that the audience was in their underwear. Hey, it's worth a try.
How to give a speech. Most of us dread making a speech to a group, but if you think of it as simple communication or helping others, you won't be nervous. You will need knowledge, a critic, paper and pen, role models, stories and metaphors, a mirror, note cards, a strong voice, and an audience. Step 1. Know your subject and align your message with audience expectations. Step 2. Prepare by role-playing the speech with a cohort to challenge your points. Focus on one topic and set out your speech to cover issues. Step 3. Capture key elements on paper in draft and refine and edit a day or two later. Be concise and simple, using words that are easy to pronounce. Limit complex formulations, big words, and too many statistics in your speech to avoid losing your audience. Step 4. While you're preparing, summarize your speech in one sentence to be sure you're on point. Jot notes to trigger stories and metaphors you will use to emphasize important information. Step 5. Study other speakers and absorb effective tendencies to enrich your presentation. Allusions to people, history, or events must be brief and widely familiar. Step 6. Practice in front of a mirror, remembering to smile and gesture naturally. Outline your speech on note cards, but try to get off book as soon as you can so your delivery will flow. Step 7. Project and modulate your voice, using emotion to telegraph key points. As long as it's not overdone, humor is always a good idea. Step 8. Interact with the audience as you speak, permitting questions and moving around, keeping the presentation dynamic. Did you know, making a presentation in public is the #1 fear reported by people in the US?
How to give welcome remarks. If you've been chosen to give welcome remarks at an event, it's because people trust you. Show that you deserve that trust by honoring the guests without getting in the way. You will need humility, correct names and pronunciations, a purpose, and topics. Step 1. Introduce yourself and start your remarks by thanking everyone for coming. Be cordial, humble, and speak for a couple minutes at the most. Give your welcome remarks genuinely, as if welcoming people into your home. Step 2. Refer to each special guest, having prepared by writing down their names, including how to pronounce them. Pay tribute to their successes, linking these to the event as you introduce them. Double-check that all your facts are correct before sharing the information. Step 3. Thank those who have made the day possible, from the organizers of the event to the waitstaff working the floor. Step 4. Reinforce the purpose or goal of the event. Offer a lead-in to the speech topics or events to follow. You might want to tease the featured speaker with a light anecdote that gently pokes fun at them. Make sure to ask their permission first. You want it to be funny for them as well as their future audience. Step 5. Share your personal hopes, ideas, or plans about the topic of the day. Step 6. End your speech by wishing all, and especially the guests, an interesting day. Introduce the first speaker and get out of the way. You are their guide, not the reason they came. Did you know? Though President Eisenhower originally welcomed Fidel Castro to power in public comments, in 1959 he snubbed the Cuban dictator, who had requested a meeting.
How to make a public apology. Public scandal threatening your legacy? Make an apology and get back in the world's good graces. You will need an intimate atmosphere, a contrite look, and references to children, optional, and addiction. Step 1. Make your public apology in an intimate atmosphere, not at a huge press conference. A short speech or an interview with one reporter whose questions you can answer with a lot of emotion and very few facts. Step 2. Make sure you look sorry, with bags under your red eyes from sleepless nights spent crying and your head slightly bowed with the weight of your crime. Step 3. Ready to speak? First, apologize to anyone you let down. Family, friends, the public, and your chosen deity. Save a special apology for the children. Merely mentioning the next generation implies a future in which people will have forgotten what you did. If you're publicly admitting to adultery, don't apologize to your illicit lover. Step 4. Discuss how sorry you are, both for your actions and for how much they bothered people. Remember, you're a bad person, but half the crime is that the public found out. Step 5. Tell the world how you plan to get help. If you suffer from an addiction, discuss your plans to enter treatment immediately. If you're just a scumbag, mention that you'll be taking some time away from the public eye to focus on developing at least a basic sense of right and wrong. Step 6. To wrap it up, reiterate how sorry you are and appeal to the paparazzi to leave your family alone. It's not their fault that you're a jerk. Then, Thank everyone for their time, walk away, and write the memoir that'll resurrect your fame before long. Did you know? In 2010, over 6 million people watched Tiger Woods' public apology for adultery live on television.